So this evening's subject is All the Light We Cannot See. The phrase used as the title for the best-selling book, Anthony Doerr, which is a great book, not such a great Netflix series, but a great book. And I think that title sort of summarizes at least my post-Hannukah feeling, which is 8 Lights of Hannukah is the idea of beyond everything, infinite light, access to the infinite light of that shone in the Beit HaMikdash, so we're told, or the access to the miracles which go beyond nature, the idea of 8. But this year I feel is very hidden from us. This light and this lightness of being. And so we've taken the opportunity to see how we can reconnect to light and lightness of being, and in any other way that you interpret light, through poetry and literature. Karen, would you care to say a few words? You're on mute.
I would like to welcome you all to the Israel Association of Writers in English group. You know, for me, light is something inside, and something I have seen in people this whole time, despite the terrible events that are with us all this time. We have people who are making their own lights, and I think that poetry is something that creates a light, and I think that is something that Michael has enabled tonight for us to hear good poetry and to hear the light within all of us. So thank you, Michael, for enabling this evening and for having us all in your workroom tonight.
Thank you. And I want to welcome especially newcomers. I don't know how you get to hear about these things, but I'm very happy, and please God, you'll come back and join us and read for us again. You all know the rules of Zoom. We've been through Zoom for enough years, so I leave it to you to go on mute. So if you know that there's going to be a background noise or you're going to start sneezing, please self-mute. Otherwise, you can stay open. And each person who reads, please, if you feel moved to, give a little bit of background about the origins of the poem. You don't have to. Don't go on for a long time because we do have limited time. At the end of each reading, people can clap, say bravo, say encore, whatever moves you. We don't have to be stuck within mute, but just please be aware of mute, and I will mute you if I hear from you unwarranted background noise. Thank you. Let's start. So I presume everyone can see this. So again, if you have a phone next to you, make sure your phone is off. And before each person's turn, please wait just a few minutes so I can find you and pinpoint you. Okay, so Anita.
I'm speaking about the primary light of our eyes, the basic physical, raw, visual light. And this is part of my series called The Eye Diaries. And Karen may remember a while ago, I wrote something called Homer's Sight. So I keep going back to the eye, the eye. This is entitled The Eye Diaries, Taking Away the Stars, after Caravaggio's painting, The Taking of Christ. How sight dives like the fragrance of an old rose, kissing sunlight. The top note trills, spicy and intense, in crimsons, deep pinks, mauves, then fades down to nothing. I stumble through a gray fog that smears my eye, tossing in all directions to find a patch of light. First came the kiss of the mobile ocular killing machine, pinned inside me to fire radiation-rich beams of energy continuously to kill the killer and everything nearby. Give up the one, they said. You always have the other. Christ is taken by the dark. As if a painting of me, I stopped before the replica, fingered the chiaroscuro, the massive dusk dotted by flecks of dawn. The kiss of Judas washes over me, light snatched. I simply move away. My eye is a room slowly shuttering. Your hand reaches for me. A change of mind. Caravaggio's Pentimento. You coat me in yellow ochre, pick up your tube, and squeeze out dabs of new paint. Kiss me with the glow of swans and maidens in the sky on chariots. Run heaven's eyes over me, hundreds of billions. Move me with the light in my room, the fog that rubs everything out. Lovers stroke me, blame the stars, give me another chance.
Very, very good.
Wow, wow.
Very
Wow.
nice.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
Beautiful.
Very
So
nice.
much in there. Beautiful.
Moment.
Did you want me to start, Michael?
Yes, please start.
Oh, first of all, I'd just like to say thank you, Michael, for all your time and your effort and your generosity in bringing us together again so soon after the last one, and especially for taking us beyond the war, the theme beyond the war. Thank you. In the Negev, standing alone beneath the cobalt canvas, in the shimmer of a spherical moon, the ledge of the Ramon crater just beyond, the depths dark, the surrounding desert boundless. As dawn filigrees the horizon's lift, at the peak of a triangular red sandstone cliff, a male ibex, as if dreamed, wild goat of biblical high places, tan, white, black and brown, scraggly tendrilled beard, a ridged horn bowed backwards, motionless, he scans the gilded thread. The female appears, 2 kids in her wake. When the sun crests, he leaps, a 6-foot arch, a trumpet's opening call, and leaps again and again, the family bouncing behind him like animated musical notes, the sun's display climbing again and again in synchrony with their descent. They veer right, one body. 16 black hooves trot in front of me on the sandy path, so close, I hear their clomp and the release of animal breath, and sprinting to the sun-basked rim of the crater, they disappear into its heart.
That.
Photo courtesy of Michael. Thank you, Michael.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. I was there. I was in that scene. I just saw it.
Oh, nice.
Aviva.
Thank you. This really happened when I was a child. Light. In the car that night, age 3, I made up a poem about stars that pierce the dark the dark that enveloped us as we moved through the night, my parents and I. Taken with my words, my mom memorized them and later wrote them down. This will always be my trophy, this attempt to light up the night.
Oh, sweet,
That's excellent.
excellent, sweet.
Thank you.
Age of 3. Wow. Thank you, Aviva.
Yeah.
Bill.
Okay. I sent you today a last stanza. I don't know if you got it in time.
I got it in
But,
time.
You did. Okay. Thank you. So I didn't take note of all the light we cannot see. I just heard the word light, and I've been absent for quite a while because I stopped writing a couple of years ago when I got old. My brain,
I
my brain
think
got
you
old.
I think you got that wrong, Bill. You got old because you stopped writing.
That's a good one.
Well, there's a
That's a
little
good-
hope for you, right? Yeah. Well, I don't know. I tried and tried and tried, and I had just lost it. So anyway, I heard the word light, and I know that I've written many, many poems about light. So I just went looking through the many poems I've written, and I found the title light in the title, and this is one that I quite like. So it's called Traveling Light. Every moving vehicle under sun carries on its painted skin and glass an extra passenger of light. Hitchhiker that boarded without asking, without thumbing, waving, flashing leg or cleavage, looking downcast, sad. That didn't bring, when you picked it up, an old translucent moon or backpack, dog, guitar, or cloud bank out of hiding, a flock of honking cranes or children you didn't see. Won't talk or smoke, won't ask about your job or family, or say it likes to guess what kind of work you do and has a knack. Won't wonder shyly if you turn the volume down a tad so it can think or read, or if you change the station to the news. It's new here, out of touch. Would love to know if anything of interest happened in these parts these past 8 minutes. Overnight, if it's early morning, but only if it isn't trouble, really. Curious about, well, everything, or nearly. It's come a long way to have a wide, if glancing, look around at birch leaves, chimneys, solar panels, certain stones and shells, and smooth oiled skin on beaches, tips of waves. No baggage, especially not the other kind that weighs and slows you down. Traveling light, you might say, going where you are, but not to worry, please. Won't ask to go inside when you do, meet the wife and children, ask to stay. No, it will lie down on your lawn, careful not to crush the grass or clovers. Think back on what it's seen and where it's been since leaving home, what it loved and where their time would see again. Look up, and like every vagrant visitor, hoping for a ride while flashing through, wait with winking patience for the dark.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Love
Gorgeous.
it, love it.
Terrific.
That's
Thank you,
great.
Bill, so much.
Yeah.
Pleasure to have you back. Please don't stop.
Yeah. It has to come up a little higher.
Find Phyllis.
Thanks for the comments.
Okay. Should I just start?
Bill,
Well,
start.
okay. I have
I'm suffering from the war. I'm feeling it very strongly. I have 6 grandchildren fighting, 2 wounded and out of it. And it's been busy. It's just keep busy, keep busy, keep busy. So I feel like they're making all their war effort and we're at home are making our war effort and trying to hang on to the light if we can. So this is war effort. More time lying in bed, sleeping less. Thoughts race. What more can I do? Check the news once more. Maybe it's over. Collect, drop off, recite prayers, cook, bake, be prepared. Keep going. Stay busy. Make calls. Be there for everyone. Stay strong. Cry alone.
Yeah, nice ending. Nice ending.
Thank you, Phyllis. Thank you. And
Very
for
telling.
Shlema to everyone.
Amen.
Thanks, Anita.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. My poems are generally short, quick, and right to the point. So in that sense of feeling, this poem is called Only a Moment. Only a moment, I noticed you stretching white to the morning. And as I watched and let it pass, I brought it back, for moments are all we have. And I watched you stretch white to the morning.
Beautiful.
Bravo.
Thank you very
Very
much.
nice.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Very succinct.
Racist.
Now,
So I contrast yours Only a Moment with October by Martin Nakel, also a newcomer. Let me find you, Martin. And you'll understand that statement that I just made in a moment.
in this moment.
Memory of light, the cry of light, the bowl of light, light bent by gravity, weak light, first light, light waves, particles of light. Light is a symbol of God, love, God, truth. Last light, the force of light, light on water, light passing through water. Fear is light, darkness is light, sexual light, artificial light, light as war. The time of light, if light is the embodiment of time and the act of time's corroboration. Light is food, an awakening from the dream of light. Wine is light, the book of light. Light also is peace, of course, of course. The light of reason and light of the irrational. The poem is light. It's a different order of language. Despair is light, face of light. The faith in light as the last faith. The clarity of that light which illuminates human error. The light of human error. Oedipus is light. Freud is light. The light of pre-dawn. The light of dawn. The light of morning. The light of early afternoon. The light of high noon. the light of late afternoon, the light of dusk, the light of night, the light of pre-dawn, the light of aesthetic fury, the light at the end of the long, long corridor, from light unto light, a desperate light. What is a soft light, and when did it first come into being, and why did it first come into being? The light that spins inside the nucleus of the atom, the light of the atomic bomb, the light as the word light. What if the light were not light? What would it be? The light of the darkest flower of evil revealed.
Think so.
The light which names the souls of all humankind is the light which ensouls the rages of all humankind. The light that captures the earth, the light that takes the earth by light storm, the light that cannot be seen, the light that among all the animals is a powerful biological reality, the light that is as it is within the light that is not, the light by which we think, whether it be of light or of darkness, that we are thinking, the light of Van Gogh, the light of Rembrandt, the light of Giotto, the light of Mark Rothko, the light of Al Held, all different fragments of light, each one whole on its own. The light of my life, the light in your eyes, the light of your reason affirming and your reason annihilating. Left. The light of Whitman, the light of Rimbaud, the light of William, the light of Messerly, of Rebecca Goodman, the light of Todd Billman, the light of John Payne, the light of Scholar Ridiculous, the light of the formalist Shakespeare, the light of the word, the light of the words, the light of all risks taken by writers leaping into and or no doubt light, the light of Calvino and Tuola and no more, and my dear goddess Wolf, we yearned only to live on the earth as an equal to it. The light which exists in the space which exists, the oxygen of light, the nitrogen of light, the photon of light, the ion of light, the electromagnetic radiation of light itself, visible to the naked human eye, photosynthesis of light via the chemistry of light into the light of organic life, and the scientists and the philosophers of light, Pythagoras, Empedocles, Epicurus, Euclid, Ptolemy, Al-Khawarizmi, Al-Kindi, Ibn al-Haytham Kitab, al-Manazir, Roger Bacon, all whether right or wrong, for example, whether light emanates from objects or comes from the eye. The absence of light, the quest for light, the light of the blind man, woman, the light of health, the light of disease, the light of the candle, even just one candle, even under the high noon sun on the desert floor. Shared light, an explosion of light, a blinding light, false light. What happens to the sun's light as the earth turns? The light that infuses each one, the light not in the white spaces, but within the letters on each page, the light which, having abolished all darkness, had to be extinguished by radical means, even violent means, even perhaps in an act of self-eradication. the light which dropped the woman to her knees. I saw. I was there. I saw this with my own eyes. He lay prostrate before the light. I went to raise her up, but she had become light. My hand passed through her. The light in the memory of your father. The light in the memory of your grandmother. The light in the eyes of Michael Fury that killed him. The light which replaces the darkness, which replaces the name, which replaces the image one has of oneself, whereby oneself we meet the universe, the self of the universe. Light to the light, the lightness and the light ear, light dwelt upon until heard in each note, Sati, the light in the capricious and murderous.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hey,
Fate in the constructed liberty of God, in the drama terror of Igor Stravinsky, in the neighboring light seeing riff of Mr. John Coltrane, from the very idea of music, from the very beginning of time, not even the beginning of humankind, the beginning of time, that music which is the light of time, which itself goes neither backwards nor forwards in its composition. I knew the woman who had fallen to her knees and then prostration. She had come from the same village as I did, and as a child I had watched her in fascination from a guarded distance. A distance guarded by what? By dread, by desire, the light in depression, the light in anxiety, the light which goes on, which has no end, no purpose, the light which replaces prayer with silence, even though light itself cannot carry silence into its form or emit silence from its form. They, all those from that same village of my childhood, had for so long expected to see a certain light manifest, waiting to see it, and so waiting to see it that when it appeared on the shores of the great lake, they denied it at first. They ran from it. They accused it of deviltry. They tried to kill it, but in the end they absorbed it, as it became a part of them so unrecognizable, so disfamiliar, that they never again knew who they were. And some of them found it funny, just funny as hell, or paradise. The light of the authority of light, the light at the heart of the joke of nature where continuous laughter provides as a full spectrum of color. The light of history as it evolves, renaming the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of power, the pursuit of justice, the quest for survival and march for progress, mankind, the light of socialism, of capitalism, of communism, killing people, and develops movements in which we find no light at all. Then the light of the input, the reverse reveal, their continuous laughter, their own confessions of freedom. The light of solitude, which desires solitude and yearns for the companion, for the communion of solitude, and yearns for the light of companion, desires companionship, and you yearn for the light of the communion of companionship, the light of the dream only dreamt of, the light in the acts of communion, the light in waiting, the light in the yard, the light in the house, the light in the room, the light on the sides of the building. the light in sound, the light in friction, the light in love, the light in endless, the light in discovery, the light which the scriptures tell us goes from generation to generation, and which he calls an eternal light, always smile across time. The authors of those scriptures still believed in the myth, and so do lived it.
Wow. It's fantastic. It's brilliant.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, kol hakavod, Martin. It's really something special.
Martin, where did that come from? The light beyond the light.
That's really great, Martin. It's really great. If I had a journal, I'd publish it.
Maybe so.
Why October?
October because having nothing to do with October, our current October 7th, having to do only with the fact that it was written in October. The light of October struck me as distinguished.
Louise Gluck wrote a book called October, Martin.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, everyone just take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Really great.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Simon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My mother was a painter. She was an artist, and although she lived most of her days as a sorry, is there an echo? Is this okay?
Please, can everyone mute?
So she tried to fit being an artist in with being a housewife, and it was quite difficult. But she did take me to the National Gallery often as a little boy, where we would have conversations with the paintings and the painters, and sometimes the horses in the paintings or with each other. And the ones I liked the most, what I called the dark ones, they were Botticelli, who I called Bottomcelli, and Uccello. And then afterwards, she would say, when she thought I'd had enough of, the martyrdoms, would you like to see the light ones? And I said, yes, I'd love to see the light ones. And the light ones were the Impressionists. These poems have got nothing to do with Impressionism. They come from but I grew up talking to paintings. So these poems come from a manuscript of paintings, of poems after paintings after biblical scenes. It's called Entertaining Angels. So these are two of them. Obscurity of raven, pressed oil on copper, shafts of light show where the raven needs to go, close by the hungry prophet, hiding in his cave beneath the trees, while the other animals seem oblivious to this cooperation between the beast in clothes and a weightless thing. Pharaoh's daughter sees the dogs, the satin and the crinoline, and that the babe is lusty, but does not see the rays strike through cloud, turning her servants towards the river and the rushes, to find one hiding who might help her free what this foundling could be.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I had to rewrite this because of recent events. So the original idea was of regret. I'm sure you'll work it all out. A soldier's letter. Your breath in the cold night is a silver wraith. Your hair in the cold light of dawning is fine golden wire. I cannot bear to dream of you. The shape of your face has left me no more than I deserved for being too gutless to meet your eyes with mine. but your touch, silver sliver of lightning burning in the yellow desert. I don't know when I will be home again. When we dig down 1,000 feet and more, far from the silvery moon, the golden sun, there is darkness, of course. What could we expect? No glistening in the bedrock, shining a radiant reply to the yellow flame of our headlamps, the white light of our electric torches. We dig on, but cannot offer hope to the blinded goldsmiths, the mutilated silversmiths. For like us, they are enslaved, deprived of memory, unable to touch or to see a tomorrow cordoned off by the barbed wire cruelty of today. Remembering is worse than living. I don't know when I will be home again.
Thank you, David.
Thanks very much, Dave. Very good.
Always like to be cheerful, you know?
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Rachel.
Yes, this first kiss is the background of it is Jerusalem, not New York, years ago. First kiss. In a dry field, the afternoon sinks slowly. Gloom around the thorns, the scattered glass bottles, the colorless fence. The moon rises whole, turns thorns into tears of light, glass bottles into glint, a fence into a railing of beams.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Very original.
Thank you.
Is Hannah with us? Hannah read last time Persian translation of a Persian poem that was incredible. I don't see that she's with us. Karen.
Because the Theodore Rethke is always with me, I had to share him with you tonight. It was beginning winter. This is the end of a series of poems about a crisis and the emptiness that comes after. It was beginning winter, an in-between time. The landscape still partly brown. The bones of weeds kept swinging in the wind above the blue snow. It was beginning winter. The light moved slowly over the frozen field, over the dry seed crowns, the beautiful surviving bones swinging in the wind. Light traveled over the wide field, stayed. The weeds stopped swinging. The mind moved not alone through the clear air and the silence. Was it light? Was it light within? Was it light within light? Stillness becoming alive, yet still. A lively, understandable spirit once entertained you. It will come again. Be still. Wait.
Well read, Karen.
All right, this is one of my own that will counter any seriousness in the evening. One of those nights. On the anniversary of my mother's death, a strange ghost appeared by my bed, wrapped in turban and shimmering cloth. It was very eerie. The dim light, the slow movement, the slim, erect figure. And then she began to speak Yiddish with a twang and an intonation I had not heard in years. Du kennst mir nicht. You don't know me. But I'm a friend of your mother's from over there, and she talks all the time about your life and how you're turning out and how you don't appreciate her. And I want you to know you're missing some valuable facts in the way you've got her figured. Are you one of my aunts who died before I was born? I asked, as if this pre-dawn visit to my bed was almost expected and made perfect sense even in the real world. Was kriegst du denn nicht wichtig? Why do you look always for the irrelevant? She told me you always want documentation. What I want you to know, and this is the most important item I can bring from beyond, is that your mother actually loved you. It's very kind of you to come all this way, I say. Why do you need to tell me? Why in this way? And why now, after all these years, all my struggles to accept her inability to accept me? I'll tell you. I don't like to interfere, and I wouldn't be here now if I didn't think it was vital to the rest of your life. Got to admit, I look good in this light. The truth is, dear, that Naches takes on a different dimension over there, that your mother takes daily pleasure in your enjoyment of life, even if it is a life she would never have understood when she was burdened with her own world, her life. The truth is, dear, I respond, that this is a fantasy I've contrived to make the rest of my life easier. Fantasy schmantasy. Enjoy the liberty. Take it with the joy that you feel when you unhook your bra after a long, hard day. I want you to know. I want you to know I'm not at all impressed by the way your generation always has to come to negative conclusions of your analysis. So why didn't she come here? She had to send a delegate. I realized that already talking in her intonation. She was afraid too. She was always afraid of you. Maybe next time, maybe she'll come herself. You never really understood, did you? How much stronger than her she thought you were, and how you forced her to go to new places, and how she learned eventually, and she went. Even your refusal to hate outright and to give up on the possibility of understanding. The fact is, you've won, she knows it, and she's proud. And she said to tell you she loves the way you read poetry out loud, even though you still stutter and you always make a couple mistakes.
Bravo, it's wonderful.
That's it. That's it. That's it. You can all go home now.
Performance.
That's just great.
A stand-up performance.
My mother tongue.
There's a show, there's a one-woman show in that there.
Oh, yeah.
Now tell us what you really think of your mother.
She made me what I am.
Ersticken sind, erleben of dir.
What your mother really thinks of you.
Leo.
Yeah, indeed, a fantasy schmantasy. A bit of background. I'm very fascinated by how much we are entrenched in metaphors. Even when we say light, we have some positive feeling, although there is no inherent positiveness in light versus darkness, for example. This poem started actually as just an observation, a natural one. Some people may call it an eco-poetic
Please stay on
poem.
mute, everyone. Okay, stay on mute.
Yeah. So I was saying it started as an eco-poetic poem. I wrote it in the Sea of Galilee, but then it became somewhat related to the mecha'ah, but then after the 7th of October, it came related to everything, and that's it. It's about time to talk about shadows. It's about time to talk about shadows, i.e. about the clouds and what they do or don't under the sun, when sunshine falls and leaves a shivering line upon the sea. And on that which is there, I mean sunlight, not at all times, but at dawn, facing these clouds, which are always there or not, on a hot days like this, how they say to the light, disappear or appear at once, call darkness, darkness, day, day, and after a few long moments, turning my being under the sun too exposed, i.e., impossible, and make me look down, turn around to the streak of light in front of my eyes, lead me to that insight that the longest shadow falls at sunrise.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Very brave. Thank you very much.
Beautiful.
Mark.
Yes, the background of this poem is that I didn't think I had a poem about light, so I went looking in my computer, and I thought maybe I'd find one by some deceased friend or something, but by golly, I found one of my own, and it's not that old, maybe 3 or 4 years. I might have written it for a project Karen once did on biblical poems. It's a Let There Be Light poem because that's about as far as I ever got in the Bible. Forbearance. If you say, let there be light, then you know in advance what light is. And why would you say that the light is good unless you have experience with light that is not good? Mm-hmm. Was the previous light streaky at noon? Did it flicker or smell of turpentine? Did it whine to the world like Grandma's old round Sylvania kitchen fluorescent? Oh. Light, oceans, trees, sun and moon, animals all in succession worked out well this time, like perfection at the obstacle course, or like a winning streak at the tables. No wonder, after such effort or luck, the inclination is not to restart.
Thank you, Mark.
Only he followed that inclination.
It follows well from Leo's previous poem. Thank you. Stephen.
Yes. These two poems are quite recent. The first was written last night, the second a few days ago. So first is called Red Light. The light in my heart screams, stop. But instead, you turn back, looking through eyes, bloodshot from both, wondering where I've been, what I've seen, settling into shadows of past friends, dwindling. I run to the lake and see raves reflecting, needing others, affirming that raw red is the color best suited for slowing time down, fermenting wine, leaving ample time for the next journey.
Please, everyone, stay on mute, okay? No background noise.
This is called My Journey. Yesterday, I left and returned, but soon I will leave forever. That thought deafened me on buses, churning gas, poisoning streets, sootying all that's not sleeping. On that bus, I looked at faces around me, except for 2 children across who didn't know of such things. Of late, I have disappeared and then have looked at the blank light of mirrors. I have cherished solitude, vertical fields where plants grow and drizzle their lives away. I have tried understanding my sadness of mauve, knowing nothing but where I went and where and will go, but have already left and returned.
Thank you, Stephen. Wow. Thank you.
Are you in a library, Stephen, or is that your house?
Oh, that's my personal library.
Wow.
I own, no, I'm just kidding. It's
Ricky,
it's a backdrop that makes me look wiser.
I see.
So
it worked.
I'm glad you asked that question. I was wondering.
Ricky.
This is a poem that I wrote in a burst of emotion, not in my characteristic style. When I was diagnosed with AMD, which is a disorder that leads to blindness. As you can see, I'm not blind thanks to modern medicine, but this was written the day I came back from the diagnosis. Let the circle of my pupils fill with light from circling stars, fill with light from burning candles, glowing embers, blazing sun, luminous faces, eyes that sparkle, crystal goblets, ruby wine, glaring neon, glistening tinsel, all that's brazen, subtle too, beige cream, yellow, moon glow silver, gray veined marble, curving plain, rich brown leather, burnished hardwood, riverlets on window pane, purple mountains, sunsets, rainbows, stormy skies and placid lakes, shadows sharpened in the twilight, diamonds piercing the night sky. Precious light, stream on, enfold me, steep inside me, make me shine, fill me, light me, love me, help me hold off darkness yet a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, good for you.
By the way, I almost was going to eliminate this poem today because I decided to listen to Dylan Thomas's poem, which ends, do not go gentle into this dark night, rage, into the dying of the light. I thought that says it all. I don't have to read the poem.
That's a great poem. It's a lovely ending. It's a really good ending.
I think you have to read this poem. This is your poem.
Yeah.
Dina.
So thank you for this prompt. I wrote it pretty much yesterday. I'm sorry I gave it in a little late, but it did prompt me and help me. Light. The first tablets written with God's own hands, filled with light, white fire on black fire, were easy to carry. But when the people danced around the golden calf, God's light left the tablets. They became too heavy to bear. Hidden in the ark, the shards of the tablets remain, mute survivors of the first broken covenant. As when a person dies, his light exhaled, the body becomes heavy and returns to earth, but his heart, with all its shattered vessels, remains in the Holy of Holies.
Very nice.
Wow. What a connection between the word light for or and the word light for kal, lightness. Brilliant. Thank you. Wendy.
Okay. I'm afraid this is a work in progress. I didn't have anything on file, so last week I sat down to work on it. It wasn't helped by the fact that the screen of my computer flipped upside down, and that's never happened to me before. And I struggled for about 2 hours, Googling on my phone how to reverse it. And after 2 hours, called my grandson to come and rescue me. Eventually, I got it done, but as I say, it's not completely edited, and I was a bit hesitant about sending it in. Anyway, see what you think. Seasons of light and dark. And in my theme here, I consider that we need dark as well as light, and this comes into the poem. Let there be light, said God, and the world was born, earth and space, mountains clothed in green, fish in the sea, wheat in the valleys, fruit in the Garden of Eden. A faith is born, a light for the covenant, candlelight for days of rest and festivals. Sharing the light does not diminish it, say the sages. Without dark, there is no light. Dark for deep sleep to rest the soul. Juliet delayed the dawn. It is but the nightingale, not the lark, lying in her lover's arms. The long dark of northern winters that ends in glorious long days of summer light. In darkness, the mood is somber, lonely. Lightened with the dawn and birdsong, the world awakens, our souls return as the seasons change from dark to light.
Yes.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Glad you read it.
This one was read already, right?
Yes.
Okay. That was the encore. Okay. Ellie. Ellie is here.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Let me just find you. Here.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So shall I read?
You may read, yes.
Salamander Nightlight. Most sea glass is brown, but green and clear abound. Blue, red, and yellow are rare. But make a salamander if glued bit by bit, amber aside scarlet, from head to curved tail, and rounded, cool bits of green and lucid teal. Such an amphibian adorns a lamp crafted out of a pickle jar, flipped and set on a slab of olive driftwood waxed, to counterpoise darkness with gems of artifice. I actually built this from sea glass that I collected at the shore in Naharia.
Thank you so much. Next time, show us.
Okay, I just wanted to try it though without showing it. So
thank you for joining us. Simo. Simo.
Do you hear me now?
Yep.
Great, thank you. So here are three word sonnets. In June of 2011, I gave a long afternoon's workshop at Tel Aviv University on the word sonnet. I think one or two people here were there, and they picked up the addiction, and it's even affected some of the Hebrew language poets. Rafi Wechert published a word sonnet collection in Hebrew a couple of years ago. So my evangelism, poetic evangelism continues. Cusp. On the cusp of the new morning, it's still dark as a cat's heart. Alan Furstenberg was a dear friend who was probably the first Yiddish Canadian scholar in Canada. He passed away a few years ago. And a book of his selected writings, which I've edited, will be out in a few months. Day. Blessed is the light that returns, renewing the day different from all other days. Winter solstice. It's coming in another 2 days. It's the end, but also the beginning. Light starts to rise, reaching towards summer. Thank you, Karen and Michael, for setting this up.
Thank you, Simon.
Yeah.
I have to confess to having caught the bug as well. And I send sometimes Seymour my word sonnets, and within 30 seconds he sends me back a take on that. So, quite a skill. Jacqueline.
What can I tell you about this poem? This is about rainbows. Well, it's not necessarily about much hope. I don't know. I wrote this a few years ago. Heads in clouds, released high and higher, ears chilled by a breeze. I expect my view to stretch. Instead, a rainbow draws a ring around the leafy bark, pushes a snail's pace train to the edge of the sea. In this circle of grey buildings, pickpocketing white clouds, my giggly friend leans from the basket, points out looms and lolling stuff. I don't know how she sees. Might be cars. I'm not making this up, though I make up a lot. This is just a lucky reflection of the sun double dutching in a multicolored snow globe to tether our leaking balloon to a bubble that we call our city. It drops, shakes out air, asks passengers alight. Once I caught another balloon above the Valley of the Kings. It's not far from here. It skippers over the divide between desert and the Nile River's sliver of green. How long can it feed such multitudes? How long can we only see half rainbows from the ground? Could be halfway forever for your bubble coming around. During daytime, that balloon is always up above the Yarkon Park. Night, it stands, lulled by tiny candles in the grass, unwoken by flashing otters or scuttering jackals. The rosehip threads too drool over drip irrigation.
Lovely.
Thank you so much again and again and again, Jacqueline. Reuven.
I just had, yeah, thank you. I had to unmute myself. This is called Walking in the Dark. It's from my friend Andy Levy. It is a black, infinite womb. When not a star nor the moon shines through the canopy of cloud, where the familiar path is uncertain and atrophied senses must be tried to sense the invisible landmarks. We walked the 3 miles in a deepening dark when only the receding town shed a glow fig behind the hills of our trek. The white line was evanescently faint, and our souls judged the distinction between the gravel shoulder and the asphalt. But when we plunged between the trees, lining the hidden snaking road to camp, the hidden snaking trail to camp, our feet alone could perceive the way. Not even the shelter of the trees above, the scalped leafy branches against the sky, would contrast for the ease of our eyes. And in the blackness, there seemed infinite room, space to swing my arms or noiselessly hurl a stone, though in the depths of these woods we knew The clearing was but some minutes away, the space between immeasurable, yet passing, or else we could not have gone on. Thank you.
Thank you, Reuben. Thank you. And by the time we have the next one, you'll be able to read directly off the screen.
That would be good.
Please go. Okay, piece of prose from Michelle.
Hi. I'll wait for you to put me up and say that it's very nice to be here again this evening. And that just by association, it's important for me to say to you that this was based on an incident that required it to be written, but it harkens back to a previous incident in which English was made clear to me by a non-English speaker who in a seminar said something to the effect of, in her broken English, it would just be kind to do such a thing. And all of a sudden I understood that the word kind did not mean nice. It meant noticing that we are both and all the same kind. So this is what happened. Peeling a pomelo. It was round and heavy in my knit knapsack the whole way down and back the Tel Aviv promenade. He had prepared it at home with slices in its hard green citrusy skin, and even cut off each end, knowing full well that it would provide refreshment when we finally sat down on a bench facing the sea at the height of the heat at midday. It's time, he said softly, half statement, half question, all whisper, so that the woman sitting on his side and the man flanking my side wouldn't hear. I knew it was my job because he had done his. My fingers and nails punctured the pomelo's coarse exterior, reaching the inner billowy white surface below. Ooh, it's almost like peeling away the layers of a cloud, I said in wonderment, not certain he had heard or understood my glee. I pulled away layer after layer, separating the rind from the cloud, from the pulp and the juicy fruit, handing him occasionally a wedge, or two or three, depending what was willing to be separated from the rest. Once in a while, a wedge left behind some stray pulpous matter exposed, and I consumed it, letting its juice rejuvenate me. We ate about 2/3 between us. I offered him another wedge. Enough, he said. Put it in the bag for later. I'm going to wash my hands. Catch up with me near the restaurant, as he motioned towards the elegant white tablecloths and wine glasses just out of view. I rummaged through my bag, not looking, while I balanced the remains in my other hand. Out of my right line of vision, I saw the woman who had been previously obscured while Eyal was seated. I motioned towards the remaining wedges of fruit, offering her a taste. She smiled slightly and responded in English, "No, thank you," while proceeding to pack the pomelo pieces into the plastic bag. I caught with my left eye the sight of a man who was still seated next to me. Bristly, salt and pepper bearded, tweed newsboy cap.
Right.
Stay on mute, please.
Bristly, salt and pepper bearded, tweed newsboy cap on his head. He stared dreamily into the distance, as if in prayer or meditation. A light, a warmth seemed to radiate from his countenance. Or was that just the reflection of the sun at noon? To him, I motioned similarly as I withheld the last wedge of the pomelo in my hand, placing the plastic bag back in my knapsack, uttering intuitively in Hebrew, "You want a piece?" His face became rosy with minor embarrassment, while he politely declined without words. A moment later, startling me with the disconnected message back in Hebrew, which he immediately pierced the course of my covered heart. Sometimes a person is caught off guard and bewildered when offered a kindness. I nodded, slightly confused, and once again raised the offering, ever so slightly. No, he motioned, and continued his soliloquy. I saw you offered her. That was kind. Not everyone does that. I was caught off guard. He smiled shyly. And then he continued, almost beneath his breath, as the breaking waves before us and the traffic behind us almost drowned out his message to me. I believe that if this is your manner, you will go far. My mind and my heart drank of the empathy and the humanity of his words offered, and I was rejuvenated further. Yes, I understand, I replied gently. I decided a while ago that what you put out into the world, you receive. The tears in his eyes shone in the midday sun as he replied, knowing his message had been received. Yes, it's a circle. Behind my covered sun-eyed glasses, he did not see the wellspring in the apertures that lead into my soul. I nodded ever so slightly, hanging the knapsack on my shoulders as I arose and said, Shabbat Shalom. Umevorach. May it be blessed, he replied as our eyes met for the last time. As I approached the restaurant, the wind chimes whispered their approval. Thank you.
Very sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much. The kindness of small things.
I did write to Michael that I came away from it feeling as if I had had an encounter with the Mashiach, or perhaps with just another human being, and therefore it's the same.
So, unless I've forgotten someone, if I've forgotten somebody, please tell me now. So, I want to end the evening with a blessing. A light blessing. And I ask everyone to focus their kavanot on everywhere in our hearts, in our bodies, in our minds, in our communities, where there is a lack of light. And I do appreciate the point that Eddie made and others that without darkness there is no light, but sometimes the darkness does need to be dispelled by light, and there does need to be lightness of being. So please take this blessing in and let it spread out. I want to bless you with very much light for this coming year. The light that will continuously light up your eyes and your face and your laugh and your love. The light that will give you a lightness of being. The light that will dispel the darkness of your pain. The light that will allow you to sit without fear in the darkness of the unknown. The light that will guide you on the amazing journey of your amazing life. The light that will surround you in both love and peace. The light that will carry your inspiration from one side of the world to the other. The light that will illuminate the hearts of all those around you. The light that glows from within and glows from without, the one light. The light that is the light of the divine. Let there be light.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Lovely, lovely, lovely evening.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you, everybody. That was, I felt an amazing evening. I want to thank Martin. That was
Unique, special.
no, don't have words to add to words.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you.
I noticed that Hannah is here. Hannah, would you still like to read?
Honestly, I'm just glad that I got to catch the end of this. I unfortunately had a family matter, so I just apologize for not making my time slot. I would be happy to read if that's something you felt was appropriate at this point.
If people would stay on just for 2 more minutes, just to honor Hannah and her reading.
I also just ask that you send me, or you know, I don't know if it's common practice, but I'd like to read the poems that were read tonight.
You will receive them.
Lovely.
Just one moment.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Say when.
Yeah. I will. There it is. Yeah. So this is Under One Small Star by the Polish poet Wisława Szymborska. She's a Nobel Prize winning poet. And I found the connection to light in the title more than anything else. This is a poem that's spoken to me for a long time, and it's almost not urgent enough at this time. So I'll go ahead. Thank you again, Michael. Under One Small Star. My apologies to chance for calling it necessity. My apologies to necessity if I'm mistaken after all. Please, don't be angry, happiness, that I take you as my due. May my dead be patient with the way my memories fade. My apologies to time. For all the world, I overlook each second. My apologies to past loves for thinking that the latest is the first. Forgive me, distant wars, for bringing flowers home. Forgive me, open wounds, for pricking my finger. I apologize for my record of minuets to those who cry from the depths. I apologize to those who wait in railway stations for being asleep today at 5 a.m. Pardon me, hounded hope, for laughing from time to time. Pardon me, deserts, that I don't rush to you bearing a spoonful of water. And you, falcon, unchanging year after year, always in the same cage, your gaze always fixed on the same point in space. Forgive me, even if it turns out you were stuffed. My apologies to the felled tree for the table's 4 legs. My apologies to great questions for small answers. Truth, please don't pay me much attention. Dignity, please be magnanimous. Bear with me, O mystery of existence, as I pluck the occasional thread from your train. Soul, don't take offense that I've only got you now and then. My apologies to everything that I can't be everywhere at once. My apologies to everyone that I can't be each woman and each man. I know I won't be justified as long as I live, since I myself stand in my own way. Don't bear me ill will, speech, that I borrow weighty words, then labor heavily so that they may seem light.
Very nice. Oh, a Nobel, a Nobel Prize winner indeed.
Indeed. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Karen? Karen's still here. Karen's may have dropped off. There will be another event, I believe, on January the 14th. You will be notified about it shortly. Friends, please look after yourselves.
You too. You too. Thanks for an illuminating, marvelous evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for all the work you've done on it.
Very special.